Good morning. Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. It's 9 a.m. and I'm here with Norma Talks. And today we look at the second set of seven symbols of the Higher Arcana. If you just sort of review, if you the last week when we looked at the first seven, it's really about a journey of understanding, of going deeper and beginning to decide that you're going to learn more about the spiritual side of life and how you work with that, and some of the with especially through the lovers symbology, come to understand some of the alignment that is needed in being able to move forward. And then eventually you've gained a certain amount of knowledge, and so then you're ready to move off into the next set. Now this next set of seven symbols is very different. In fact, I was looking through a book I wrote on all this way back in 87 actually, and a lot of people still use it today with as you might say a encyclopedia of how I perceive these. And I was just looking through, and it was really interesting because you forget, you write something, and a lot of people have used it, and in fact I have had some requests for it again in the last while. But the interesting thing is with this set from number 8 to 14 is you've come to learn that there's more. You've come to learn that there is love. You come to learn there's energy, that you've come to learn all that and to aspire it and bring it forth. But then comes the practicality. Then comes the practicality of how do you use this? How does it work? And so what we see here is with the strength symbol, I'm just bringing it a little closer for a moment or two, is the lion. But if you take a look at her hands, she is got her hands up right on the lion. The lion is licking her hand. One of the things that I like always about this symbol, because it's called strength. But again, if we look, what we see here is the above the head, showing there's now an awareness of this energy. Sitting on a laurel wreath of victory is there on her head and her little rope that she's got tied around the lion, my goodness me, is made of roses. Roses are the roses of desire. But the telling thing in this symbol, and I'm going to again get it close so that you can look at his tail. The lion's tail is in submission. She is taking whatever is going there and she is working with it so that life, you could say, is becoming submissive through the power of love, through the power that she knows there's there. Also, another little thing I should point out here. See that little mountain on the side back there, that little blue? If you go back to the lovers, and there's it shows quite big between, and now things are, I think it's the lovers, they're there, but that's showing that's receding, that you're moving more and more into the power of you, that you have the strength to apply this to the world. So you're beginning to become aware of how you can use this energy to work with the situations in your life. Excuse me. And my voice is very croaky this morning. So we'll sip on some water. You would not have wanted hear me doing all sorts of things to get my throat working here. Anyway, the next symbol talks about the hermit. Now, the journey through these 8 is not like the first 7, which flows really easily. So now we have to go inside. The hermit is about going inside more and more. It's a very simple symbol. The hermit is on top of a cliff, I might say. And also it is, I just want to make sure my phone's turned off here. I need 2 hands. By the way, I've got my hand back a little bit and it picks up things and even goes high. So those that have been watching that journey where I couldn't move it at all, still can't bend it properly yet, but it's coming. Anyway, the good old hermit, what I like, he's holding a lantern with a 5-pointed star. I've got to get this right here. And it's saying, where I am, you too can be. He's looking back at the world and knowing that he is achieving, but it's an isolated spiritual journeys to some degree are an isolated internal element. I know we join groups. I know we go within groups, but it's you have to do your work. You have to go inside. You have to come to a place where you understand and you work at. And there's teachers, and yes, there's guides, some in bodies and some not. But it's like you are still going through that phase where you're looking, where you're searching, where you're taking a look at how things work. And it's a little isolating at times because especially when you're coming out into the spiritual groups, and your other friends think you're going a little cuckoo, because all of a sudden, you're looking at things and you want to discuss them and they're not really interested. So there's a lot of that. So it's like learning that the answer lies within you to a degree, but it's just that going inside, that looking, that understanding. And yes, it does have a sense of separation as you come into an awareness of it. But then things change in the next step, and that is our number 10, the Wheel of Fortune. It's like all of a sudden life comes in. The wheel turns. And actually the key is, I still need to use this a little. I'll put this over. I'm trying to think, where am I going to put this with two hands here? Because I want to point this out. These 4 symbols represent the elements, and they all have books because they're still learning. And the turning, the snake. There's a snake here. I'm a bit disorganized this morning. Apologies. The snake there is really important because it does not have its tail in its mouth. When we see the symbolism of the tail in the sort of the mouth, it means that the energy is combined. The energy is brought together. And the books here, because how do you learn? It's like you go into the lion's den in a way. And it's like there's these old knowledge, like the Sphinx here. There is this like kind of demon coming out over here. And what was the other one? The snake. And yeah, the 3 of them. There's 3 things here. So the wheel goes around. The wheel goes round and round and round, life. But on the 4 corners of the 4 fixed signs, they have books because it's a learning time. And you may do and make some mistakes. And that's okay because now you learn. Sometimes people think that you just claim the energy and then everything is going to be smooth. I just want to say, you're in for a shock. It's not smooth at all. It makes you wonder what on earth you're doing. It makes you wonder if you're even on the right path. Because it's like you've got to get the edges off. When you're smoothing, I'm just going to show a little rock here, little rock that's all smooth. How do you think it got smooth? It was put in a tumbler and it went round and round and round and comes out. It takes the edges, it smooths things out. That's what the Wheel of Fortune does. It's when life goes crazy. What am I going to do? How am I going to make this work? The key is to become like the hub of the wheel. So you're gaining your knowledge, you've gained awareness. Now you've got to hold strong in that, but you're still learning. So you're adding to that hub of the wheel. You're adding to how it all works. And it isn't, it's never a great time. There's nothing in here that says, yeah, except the learning. You will learn. You will learn that works and this doesn't work. And remember, every person is different. Every person has different awareness. I was going to say different learning, but it's like awareness. Every person has the awareness to, that's one of my traits, or that's one of my habits, or that's this. And that's what the Wheel of Fortune brings. It's kind of there's no security in here. Everything is up in the air. Everything is in clouds. It's all movement and change. And what are you drawing on? You've had some knowledge. You've got some knowledge. And now it's going to be tested all over the place. And often you just feel, what am I doing this for? That can actually go on, if you're in the learning phase, can go on for some time. Unfortunately, it's not a quick learn because you got to begin to take the pieces that you've run your life on and begin to re-examine where and when, how you're going to work it. And then I'm taking a breath because now we come up to the justice symbol. Very similar in looking to the high priestess, number 2. Guess what this number is? It's number 11, the higher value of the number 2. So here it's like someone with justice. He's got the sword, he's got the scales, he's got, again, curtain behind him that you can't see. He's got a cape. There's a lot of little mythical symbolism in this, but primarily it's like understanding how the law of karma works. You know, what you put out, you get back. You think, because we learned that through the wands, when you have a thought that goes out, it creates whatever. The cups showing the value, whether you're happy or sad, what you're doing with that energy. Then, the swords, how are you handling the problems of your life? Because we all have them. If things don't work always the way you want to, then we come to the pentacles, manifestation in the life. But what I came to really realize was in the number 2, the high priestess, we make a decision to go forward in spiritual study or in life to do something. And here is where we make the commitment to the journey, because the spiritual journey is not always a bed of roses. You have to have, like the little stone, you have to have the edges pulled off. You have to have a working philosophy. But I'm just going to put this down for a moment. One of the things I found a lot is that people have a sort of a rosy philosophy. But it's not practical and it's not grounded. And so the commitment you make on your journey to incorporate and bring forward the love vibration that you've run into in the first 7, that you're beginning to integrate into your life, that very often it's kind of like, what am I doing? Because it feels like everywhere you turn, it's like being banged in the head sometimes, or other parts of your body. But it's like the wheel of fortune has rattled you around, and now you're having to decide, do I want to go forward with this? Am I willing to keep on learning? Like that's what I did for years, was take classes, begin to teach classes. I learned lots just by teaching other classes myself, basic meditation, psychic development, tarot cards. But it's like, I'm taking that commitment that this is your path. This is where you want to go. This is what you want to do. That's a very simple symbol, as the hermit is also. They're very simple, to a degree simple. We haven't got to the death symbol yet, which is not simple. But it's like commitment. So in number 2, when you decided, yes, I want to learn more, here you commit to learning more. So you move forward through that. You can't see where that's going to take you. But you know that you want that love force. So you know whatever it is you want to do. And it's there. And then what happens? You end up as the hangman. Hangman, everything here is crosses. The big element here, the legs, the arms, and then there's the nimbus around the head. When things do not work, you just have to accept and see what you learn by it and where you go. This is the law of acceptance. Most of us don't like accepting things that we don't really want. We don't like accepting the realities, and we buck against them. We complain against them. We go, why is it like this? Whether you're talking about local politics or big politics or this group or that group. And it leaves you suspended. That's why he's up there. But everything forms a cross. His legs, I'll show you again. His legs form a cross. His arms form a cross. He's on a cross. Accepts it all. He accepts. This is how it is. And the nimbus shows, even though he's hanging upside down, he remembers and knows the loving force that's there. He remembers whatever name you call it is there. It's there with you. And we go through those times where, in a way, some people call it testing. You're being tested. Well, yeah, part of it is created from the Wheel of Fortune, and then you have to commit, and then you kind of have to accept. This is really big on acceptance. It's also the number 12. And if you think of the Empress, which is 3, this is the higher value of that. And there's Empress in number 3 being all beautiful and wonderful. Now you're hanging upside down, but it's still there. It's there no matter what. It's in the air. And you've incorporated it now as a part of you. And what does that bring when you finally accept that you're a part of a bigger power, that you're that part, whatever you call that part, is there for you to help sustain you when things are not the best. We then come to the death symbol. I learned to really like this symbol when I saw it come up in my life, because it means I was leaving behind whatever I was trying to work through or what I just wanted to change. There's a lot of symbolism in here, and I'm not going to go into all of it because I want to stay with the you on a horse reduced to the bare bones of who you are. But if you look in the background, there are two pillars and the sun is shining. We're not there. We're not quite there yet. But he's on a white horse. He's got a king on the ground who's obviously dead. He's got a priest, a maiden, and a child. And there's obviously been a war. Well, when we're trying to learn things in life, and life is coming at us in all sorts of ways, it's like where do we stand in that? What do we learn from it? You've just been through all sorts of life. It's funny when we start to learn how this law of love works, or how, if you want to, whatever you want to call it, whatever you embrace spiritually, when you start to learn it, it's like life batters at you. And why that is basically, how do you smooth that? How do you know where your edges are? How do you know what you really believe? How do you know how committed you are? In fact, it probably isn't until the justice symbol that you really become committed. And then you really have to accept, this is where I am. And then you begin this journey of the death journey, the letting go of the old. You are not the same that you were, say, in the chariot number 7. You've come through a tremendous, it's like a tornado sometimes. And it's like, no matter what, you keep going because you have a vision of when wherever it is you want to end up, which is usually becoming more at one with everything. And then as the death, there's a journey, obviously. But what you find here in number 14 is an angel, temperance, beautiful red wings, has two cups, blending the waters of life, standing on the waters of life with one foot. Another foot is on a stone beside the pool. Water, remembering emotions. We hadn't had any really until the death symbol. There is a river here, which I didn't mention. There's also a boat on the river going the same direction. Little things like that in symbology make a big impact. And out of this pool of water upon which he has one foot with the emotions, because this is an emotional planet as far as I'm concerned. This is where we have to learn, and we have to understand that, not reject it, but understand it. And if you really study the cup symbology, you'll get it. They're normal, natural in this planet. We need to understand and not condemn our own feelings because they're telling us something. And then the pathway that comes out of the side of this pool here is you don't see it flat like in, I think it's some other symbols from the lower arcana. The path is quite clear. It's not here, it's broken. But in the background, there is the sun, and it looks like a crown. This is showing that you've come where you're now getting into a balanced state, because you can't put your foot on the water and the ground and be balanced. If you're not balanced, you'll fall in the water. You fall back into the emotional mist. Also, there's 2 irises there as well, showing the brain. Everything's coming together. It's all coming together. At least one trust is coming together. But you're starting on a program, like a pathway of life. And that pathway is in the, I forgot to mention, on his chest is a square. Well, I'll put it close. A square and a triangle. Square shows the earthy. The triangle shows the spiritual. And now he's got that. And the sun on his head, his crown. Remember the chariot has stars, which is your own light. And now we've got the power through this 7. Jeepers, I'm all over the place this morning. Through this 7, you have begun to have power. Now, next week, when we look at the next 7, and actually 8, because the Fool fits in there as well, that's a different story, because when we feel really good about who we are, there's still more. There's always more to look at, more to understand. But really, to understand this journey of this part of the seven, the first seven, it's very kind of easy to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps, very easy. This one gets muddled, even though it is in steps, even though the creators made sure this flowed. It's not an easy journey, because when you embrace to grow and become spiritually connected and bring in your philosophy into your life, have it be part of your life, it's like you're banging into walls, all sorts of things. And anytime you think, oh, got it, this is it, I'm going, here we go, then it feels like you're running flat into a wall or into something and it doesn't make sense. Where am I? And that's a lot about the Wheel of Fortune, which kind of sits in some respects in the middle of this. And then it's like, again, that commitment, no matter what, I'm going to continue on. Oh, I found I couldn't give it up. I had to figure it out. And it took years to figure certain things out. It took years, because from learning, I then began to work on, how do I transform myself? How do I work with that? How do I make that work and happen? So this is what I love about the tarot, because it laid it out. So when I got lost, I could go and read for myself, and I could see where I was. I could see what was happening. And I began to do readings for people just using Higher Arcana cards, showing their life journey from beginning to the end. And it's fascinating to find where the real, you might say, the real super learning symbols come up in your life. And sure enough, guess what? They do. And some of them have them early, and some of them have them in the middle, and some people have them at the end. And it's an interesting journey that we have in this thing called life. Life. Doesn't it sound beautiful? Like, yeah, life. And so what's up there that's going bang, 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 bang? Because we're having to really establish who we are in relation to that power, whatever name you call it, however you see it, it's there. For me, I feel the love. I feel the essence. And sometimes I get so embroiled in my life, I forget. And it's like all of a sudden I'll have something happen and I'll go, oh, I've gone into my head. I'm reacting through my feelings. I'm not listening. So you learn how to listen. That's why meditation can be very, very important, is to just quiet, get down to the sense of you and listen to that deeper, deeper voice that talks to you, whichever way it talks to you. So that's what I wanted to share today. Next week, when we go into the last, 8 symbols we'll be looking at, that's kind of like a resurrection in a way. I mean, not all good, not all good, but this is your struggle. This is the struggle. So if you've got symbols at home, put them out and look at them and see, okay, I'm on my journey. I've left the chariot of the 7, and I'm applying what I've learned, what I understand, applying the love to the life, and working with it and looking inside, always going that inner. And then knowing that the turmoil, when life hits, man, it hurts. And you have to often make quick decisions. And very often we get caught up in the big swirl of things. I know I do still sometimes, even though I know better, I still do it, because I'm a human and my emotions get caught up. But remember, it is commitment to the path. Until you commit to the path. As I often say, I used to have meditations I did where I had people come to the high priestess, and basically they'd have to choose, go right or go left. And it was interesting. I always feel often when I look at the justice, it's like, yeah, what am I committed for? What am I committed to? Because all of it is about accepting you. Whatever's happening, you're still you. You're still connected. You're still loved beyond measure, no matter what. No matter what you do, you're loved. And it's like they don't really always, your helpers can't really interfere, but they can put your ideas in your head through your high self. But it's that transition out and saying, yes, I'm moving in a different way. And it doesn't happen overnight and stay. It's a journey. And that's why the death is on a journey. There's been a war. and now it's being left behind as it moves forward. And then you kind of come out into a plateau where everything is it's like it's come together. The material, how to create in the material world, how to be spiritually, how to be able to move on. But you're not done the whole journey. Sometimes it feels like you have. It's like, oh, I've reached it. There it is. But it's not done totally. Yes, you've reached a point. It's like you're flying somewhere and they have a stopover, right? And it's like, oh, good, I'm here. No, you're just in a stopover point. You've got another journey yet to make. And yeah, so that's how that particularly works. And I really can see today I had a lot of people just make comments. So thank you. And let me look. I'm just reading. I'm going to read them because it's why I say, oh, this makes me know that I'm doing something. Looking forward to learning more. Thanks, Cece. 99. Lisa Marie, good morning. Thank you for a beautiful day. Yeah, it is. I guess I haven't gone outside yet. And then Cece again says, this is amazing. Isn't that nice? Oh, it's just still in the cards. Maggie G, good morning, Norma. Have a wonderful day. You too. It's beautiful out there. I have to go out today, so I will be out soon. And CC says again, thank you for the reassurance. And Yvonne says, amazing talk. Thank you very much. And Sarah Marie says, can I get a reading? Well, you can check in. And if you don't have my phone number, you can go to my website, normacowie.com, and check it out. Phone me and or email me, which is normacowie.com, norma.cowie. Anyway, go to the website. Everything's on there. Thank you for your comments. That always makes me feel like I'm not just talking to air because that's the difference. I used to travel a lot. I used to have groups a lot. And then COVID came and I got older in that COVID period, had to change my life totally. So now you get to see me through a screen, but I feel I still am not done in the sense that I love sharing my knowledge, having people and hearing that people are getting it, which is great. That makes it really worthwhile. You have a great day. I'll be back on Sunday for my Sunday thought. And if those of you haven't looked at mental mind treatments on Monday, you might want to just listen to the first part anyway. It was very, from my perspective, it was very interesting and some interesting information. And yeah, you can let me know what you think about that as well. You enjoy, have a great day. And it's sunny here, so we'll be outside looking at the sunshine very, very soon. Many blessings. Bye.